Thank you for joining me today. My name is Michael Voss of MV Consulting, and today I'm here with Assemblywoman Donna Lupardo. She's taken a moment out of the busy schedule to speak with us a little bit, in particular about her trip down to Washington, D.C. and the White House. And thank you for having us today.
Good to be here.
Assemblywoman, let me ask you, it is quite an honor to be invited to the White House at any time. And was that something, were you surprised? Was that something that was hinted at beforehand, or did they just surprise you out the blue?
Well, no, I've been working on these issues for a number of years. I've been affiliated with the Kettering Foundation for some time, and I was out there having some discussions about ways in which state legislators are getting more involved and actively engaged in the community in their work, so that's not just a one-way deal, that you solicit input, that you have roundtables, that you find ways of incorporating the public's input into what you're doing. So I was always somebody that was in the mix. And my husband is also involved in this work through Cornell University. So the two of us have been in this, in this for quite some time.
Okay. So that's always good to know. I mean, it's something that is the fruition of the work you've been doing for some time. And I love that.
But it's also just the very beginning of a whole new initiative that is going to be very, very time-consuming and timely as well.
Well, see, that's part of what I wanted to ask about that commission, because a lot of people don't know what happened. And it happens in a roundtable, especially a roundtable in the White House itself, which just elevates everything about it. Perhaps one of the questions would be, what did you take from the roundtable, and how do you think it may be able to transfer to the residents of Binghamton and the surrounding area in the 126th district?
One of the things I came away from realizing is that there are some specific things we can do to help get the public and our students more re-engaged in civic life. And we can look to some of the symptoms of people who are apathetic or disengaged or cynical, and a lot of it has to do, honestly, with people not caring about politics, being discouraged about getting involved in politics because of negative behavior on the part of elected officials, because of policies that they don't agree with or they feel that have somehow hurt our communities. People have turned away from good civil discourse to help us solve public problems, and there's this divide along very specific and entrenched interest lines. Things are very cut and dry. You're anti or you're pro. And what I've tried to do for a long time in these sorts of debates is to be the voice of reason. When I see a very contentious debate, like gas drilling, for example, it can be easier in some ways to line up on one side or the other. It's harder to be someone who practices understanding. And we want to sort of encourage our students and our community to be more involved in public problem solving, to be more civically involved. And part of that involves a certain skill set: patience, understanding, appreciation of diversity. And part of what the White House was encouraging us to do is to go out and talk to our science, social studies teachers, talk to our fellow elected officials, talk to school administrators, community leaders, and see if there's some way, not only can we encourage civil discourse, but if we can't get our students more engaged in the community as part of their curriculum. Not to add something new to the curriculum, but to sort of put a theme through the curriculum that says you're part of a community and we need you to play a role in shaping the future and not check out, which is what a lot of kids are doing.
Yeah, and that's a bad trend. We do need to reverse that, and anything that helps to reverse that is always positive.
A lot of people have checked out in general.
True.
And I know why. There's lots of reasons why. And it's important that we examine that as a community and try to figure out how we can improve that.
True. And I agree completely with that. I think those are important issues. But perhaps, is there a specific initiative, a specific program, something that, coming from the White House and your previous work, that the residents and the constituents can say, okay, I see how that connects to this work, and I can see, okay, this is that program.
Mm-hmm. Well, the first thing it's important to do is to kind of get a survey of what's going on in the community that's already along these lines, that's already working. Binghamton University in the last couple of years has set up a Center for Civic Engagement. Broome Community College for the longest time has had an enterprise involved with civic engagement. In fact, they have, I believe, a curriculum requirement at Broome Community College that they take a course on this type of thing. So I want to just, before I start launching with various new programs, to find out what's going on in our colleges, what are they doing to get students more involved in into the community, the campus community partnerships. What are my K-12 programs doing? I've already met with the superintendent from Binghamton, for example, learning about some of the initiatives they have going on in their middle school, for one example. So I want to just find out what's going on, what's working, and getting their input as to how we might improve before we come in all blazing with a new program. The White House and the 100 people who were invited to this program came in with a whole binder of resources on different things that have worked in different places. One program that I'm going to be talking about at the end of this month, hopefully we're going to be bringing in someone from the Midwest. He is in charge of a program called Public Achievement, and it works with K-12, mostly middle school, but also high school kids, trying to figure out a way of building in some kind of community project into their work. I know teachers are very sensitive about another requirement, and that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about finding a way of bringing to life the curriculum that they're trying to teach. And so that, if there's an opportunity for some of the students to get out there and see firsthand the implications of what they're learning, that would be positive.
So real-world connection.
Exactly. So there's one program that I'll be discussing with my K-12 school administrators and teachers, which is called Public Achievement. And it's been very successful in other parts of the country to help kids, honestly, not only just get connected into a service project, but help them see themselves in a different light. One of the things we've learned from talking with mental health professionals and teachers in general is that students are, as we said before, kind of preoccupied in technology a little bit more than we were when we were kids.
Oh, yes,
and you see them I'm very oriented also to my
the PDAs
device.
Yeah.
But when you're having a text message conversation with somebody that you're sitting next to, I know that may be a stereotype. Apologies to the kids watching this, but we've heard of this, or just very reliant on that, and they may just say, "Oh, well, you're not aware of how we think nowadays or how we act." But I have one teacher at Johnson City told me that he had a requirement that students participate in a community activity as part of the class. They didn't want to get involved. They didn't want to do it. But after they did, they came back and said that was the best thing that they'd ever done, because they got to see themselves as part of this place. They got out of their own routine, and they got to appreciate how we need them in the community helping us out here.
Absolutely.
And a lot of students stepped up, of course, during the flood, and they realized this point I'm trying to make. But so the point of public achievement is to provide these kinds of opportunities for kids to achieve something for the good of us all, and for themselves too. I think they will feel better about who they are, and maybe get out of the devices for a few minutes.
Just a little bit. I know we don't have a lot of time, so because I do want to find out more. When you are ready to present that initiative, I look forward to being able to review that with you again and go into it in a little more depth.
I do have a couple of things I can tell you about. I know.
Oh, please do.
Because there's the higher ed component to this. I know I mentioned what Broome Community College and BU are doing with their centers, but also one of the things I'm working with the engineering department on is communicating to our area what they're doing up there at the Innovative Technologies Complex. As you go up Vesta Parkway, you see 3 brand new buildings, 2 that are open, one's being built, 4th one we're going to be getting approval on soon.
Okay.
It's a huge complex that is engaged in some of the most innovative research and development in the country, certainly on energy and other critical issues. The public isn't aware of it.
Not at all.
And so I have engaged them, part of this initiative also of Community Campus Connections, for college-level students. We're going to be going out into the community with a presentation to the Rotaries, Sertoma clubs, and other groups to talk about what they're doing, what innovations, what inventions, what potential there is up there for hopefully building these things right here in Broome County. That's our theory. It's called commercialization, bringing these things to market and bringing the entrepreneurs who have the capital investment all together in one place. But it would help us enormously if the community knew what they were doing.
Well, I definitely want to help you get that word out.
So that
because I wasn't aware of it. Yeah.
The presentation is going to be debuted mid-February at the Endicott Rotary Club. We're going to go out there and show them the PowerPoint presentation with one of the professors from the engineering school to see what they think of the presentation, sort of a trial run. And we're also going to be having an open house that I'm in the middle of organizing for science, math, and technology teachers in the K-12 system to go up there, meet the scientists and the researchers at Binghamton, and hopefully build in some of what they're doing into the curriculum, so there's a real connection. We're not only studying this, but right here in Binghamton, they're inventing the next generation of that. So that's another example of what we're doing is the Science and Tech Initiative, because I chair the Commission on Science and Technology, and one of my missions in that role is to not only explain to people what our scientists are doing, but to get kids excited about getting involved in science careers.
Get that next generation.
So maybe some of those students in public achievement can get over to Binghamton and be helpful in some of these endeavors. So that's the other piece.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah, that's exciting stuff.
It'd be great if we can inspire that next generation of inventors and innovators here in Binghamton itself and create, I don't know, maybe a Binghamton, Silicon Valley. That'd be beautiful.
Well, we're losing our competitive advantage overseas. I think we have this year only graduated 5% of the world's new engineers. 5%. When you look at the statistics in Asia, I mean, they're just running circles around us. So
we have to change.
You got to ramp it up.
Definitely.
Okay.
Let me switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
And look at somewhat related, but it's somewhat speculative.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you've heard the rumors and the questions so far in reference to Representative Maurice Hinchey.
Mm.
And he's announced that he is going to retire at the end of this year.
Mm-hmm.
We wish him the best, of course, for his health and his family.
Mm-hmm.
And he's put in decades of effort to help the community.
Uh-huh.
So that is recognized, but at the same time it does leave a vacuum, a bit of a vacuum, and the question is, as probably one of the more visible and front-running, potentially a front-runner, and definitely more visible, would you follow his step in going from the Assembly to the Congress?
Well, ordinarily that